What is blockchain?
Blockchain is a general word that's used to describe a particular way in which information is stored. And the way in which information is stored in a blockchain environment is that a bunch of information about what they call transactions, which is new information about a state of affairs, is stored in blocks of data, and those blocks of data are connected to each other in a series, which creates a chain of blocks. And that's how it was originally described, and eventually it became a single word called blockchain. But originally it was a chain of data blocks. What makes that chain of data blocks quite powerful is a few things. One is that the second block has the part of the identity of its previous block inside its own identity. So if you think of each block as almost like a folder, the identity of each folder has a little bit of the previous block's identity in it as well. So they're intrinsically connected with each other, which means that changing anything in any of those blocks would lead to a change in the title of that block, or the block header, which would then cause a whole bunch of ripple-on effects. Now, for that to happen, and this is the second attribute of blockchains, is that it requires all the computers in a network to maintain what they call consensus, which is that there's a common copy of a particular database. And if you want to make changes to that database, you need to be able to achieve a new consensus from those people or computers in that network. So a great analogy historically is to think about a particular experience in a Pacific island. So there was an island called the Yap Islands, and on those islands are these really big round stones, and they're called the stones of Rye. Now those stones, some of them are huge, they're 6-8 feet high, way too heavy for people to move, but those stones actually are currency within that community. And those stones are owned by different people, and they are exchanged for things in those communities. And so when a significant exchange is taking place, whether it's a wedding or buying a new boat or whatever it happens to be, the way that community deals with it, because you obviously can't pick up the big rock and hand it over to someone else, so the rock stays in the one place, is that there's normally a ceremony to bear witness to this exchange, this new arrangement, and that ceremony creates a collective memory of a particular event. And that event is that person A has now bought whatever it is from person B, and the ownership of the stone now transfers from person A to person B. Now, if somebody came along tomorrow, person A, and said, "Oh, I'm going to, use my stone to buy something else," the community memory actually says that stone no longer belongs to you. Our record collectively actually shows that it was transferred to person B. So you can't go and reuse that stone because it's no longer yours. So that's what blockchains in a sense achieve, but at a scaled level and in an environment where you don't need to be familiar with each other. Whereas obviously in a small community like the Isles of Yap, the members of communities actually know each other. But that's the basic idea.